This is a special edition of WeatherScope with the latest winter storm update.
And good morning. We are watching our new storm here at the Weather Channel, and it continues to become a problem for a lot of folks, not only in the Northeast, as Philadelphia and D.C. are dealing with a miserable rush hour this morning, but also in the South, from Nashville down to Huntsville and now into the northern suburbs of Atlanta. Visibilities are being drastically reduced, even into northwest Marietta. Jeff Morrow called this morning from Kennesaw and told us that we do have some visibilities down there as well. All right, what's going on with this thing? Let me show you the analysis this morning, and you can see what's going on. Here's the upper level low, some very cold air aloft associated with this thing, and sure enough, this is responsible for these very strong, dynamically driven, showery type events that we're dealing with. And of course, it's winter, so we're dealing with snow. Surface low developing offshore North Carolina, throwing back the moisture. A pretty large area now of moderate snow. We can't even keep up with it all. Up to Philadelphia, D.C., Baltimore, a couple of inches on the ground. 3 now on the ground back here in Nashville. So some really interesting weather. Standing by in Boston to await these heavy snow bursts, our very own Bill Keneally this morning. And Bill, Bostonians ready for a President's Day weekend. They're ready for Mo Vaughn to sign, but are they ready to deal with another snow event?
All right, Jim, I think they're yes on both counts there. I mean, they're thinking back 2 years ago, okay, big deal. We had 76 inches. We're still about 20 behind the 93, 94 winter, but I think we're going to make some great strides later on today to chip away at that all-time record. You mentioned Providence will probably set their record later on today. Sky cover starting to cloud over a little more now. Our photographer, Randy Frosting, and I noting that the wind is now at our back, pushing southward, but it is turning a little more now towards the north-northeast, and it is getting kind of gusty. There is a gale warning up for the coast, and that may cause some problems later on today with that push of water on some of the parkways down around Quincy and Revere and Lynn. So we'll have to monitor that. The snowfall, again, expected sometime after lunch. Logan Airport officials are grappling with the problem now. They have a meeting going on. We'll try to get more at the close of that meeting. The traffic is still moving. I look over to 93 off to my left. I can see the Bunker Hill Monument, and the traffic is still crawling into town. We are on the McGrath Highway, by the way, in Cambridge, and still a pretty good volume heading downtown. The north end just over the Charles River behind me.
And the north end, I'm sure this morning, supporting some of that wonderful sausage bread up into the north end. And you can bring some back with you if you'd like. Bill, big problem this evening because we do think some of this heavy snow is going to hit during the rush hour. And we're not only talking on the highways, but what about Logan? Have you heard anything about what they're going to do at Logan this evening? Are they close the airport? Are they planning on doing that?
Again, Jim, we haven't heard lately. We talked to them last evening. They had a big meeting going on. All the honchos are getting together. Very busy weekend, as you mentioned. We have a lot going on. The New Hampshire primary is only 4 days away. A lot of folks coming through town or coming into the Manchester airport. Both airports are going to have some major problems later on today and tonight. The mass transit right now, that's fine. The T-line is right here heading south. Everything moving along fine, but the airport will be the big bugaboo late today through Saturday.
All right, Bill, right now precipitation not reaching the ground in LaGuardia, so it's heading up into New England here pretty soon.
Okay.
We'll check back with you a little later on. Thanks.
Right.
Again, folks, there's some very heavy snow coming down around Baltimore and Washington, D.C. as well. They've got 2 to 3 inches on the ground there, and again, even into the south, we've got some snowy problems. Let's get into this. I'll show you the water vapor first of all this morning as we go to it. You can see the big trough, which is being carved out in the upper air pattern. Our upper air low here, which has already produced a swath of snow, and our surface low, which is taking shape off of North Carolina, which will become the primary feature as we get into this afternoon. But again, with the upper level low, folks, it's like a summertime event when you get all of a sudden these showers popping up out of nowhere and producing heavy rains for a brief period of time. That is what's happening through here, and we've seen that occur all the way down into the south. Notice again the colored infrared, how quickly the warm, moist air has been thrust onto the north, and you can usually see that when the nice bright colors start showing up. In this case, we're going from a rather white, clear area to the darker blue, and that is definitely showing us that the tops are cooling, and we're getting that thrust of warm air northward, not too far behind the snowfall. And in some cases, it is very, very heavy snow, which we're going to show you here on the radar coming up here in just a second. There we go. Here, northeast radar, dealing with, again, precipitation aloft right up and through here, but it's just starting to reach the ground. south and west of New York along the Parkway and the Turnpike this morning. Moderate snow at Philly, moderate Baltimore, moderate D.C., and even into the southwestern part of this radar, we are finding some very heavy snow. Down and through Columbia, South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg as well. Be on the lookout here. Columbia, you're dry now, but it could be coming your way. This whole area is kind of wrapping around, heading right down into Columbia. And last but not least, Nashville, Atlanta, Birmingham, again, dealing with these snow bands coming around with this upper air low. And there are bursts of heavy snow, especially on the western side of Atlanta here. They are covering the ground, and they are going to clean about 3 inches. So if this is the kind of energy that's dropping south, Atlanta, Birmingham, pick up the clue here, because it looks like you're going to see some pretty heavy snow as we go through the morning here and the early afternoon hours with this particular event. Anyway, stay with us here at the Weather Channel. We will continue to cover the storm, 2 facets of it, I should say, across the Tennessee Valley and one in the east. And we'll keep you posted, too, on what's happening in the west. Looks like the floodgates will once again open. Let's talk to Cheryl in the studio about that.
Remember, go for the cup.
Coffee?
When you go for the cup, make sure it's 100% Colombian coffee. It's the world's cup.
Forecast. Accurate, up-to-date weather information for your neighborhood. Only on the Weather Channel.